She knocked on my door at 7 in the morning, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "This is my house now. Hand over the keys or I'm calling the police." I laughed. I thought she was joking. She was not joking. Within 4 minutes, there were 2 squad cars parked in front of the home I legally own, because my HOA board president had decided completely on her own that she was the new owner of my property. No paperwork, no court order, just a woman, a phone, and an absolutely unhinged level of audacity that I genuinely did not know was possible in the real world. If you think this ends there, it gets so much worse. Stick with me to the end because what she did next actually broke new legal ground in our county. Welcome back to Neighbor Wars HQ, the channel where we document the most jaw-dropping, legally baffling, and downright unhinged neighbor disputes happening in communities across America. If this is your first time here, buckle up, because this story is one for the absolute record books. I'm your host, and today we are deep diving into what I have started calling the hostile HOA takeover incident, a story that involves false police reports, forged documents, a property deed that definitely does not say what Karen thinks it says, and one very tired homeowner who just wanted to drink his morning coffee in peace. Before we get into the full story, hit that subscribe button right now. I post new Neighbor War breakdowns every single week, and trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming after this one. Now let's get into it. So here's the background. I've lived in this house for 11 years. I bought it, I have a mortgage, I have a deed. I pay my property taxes every single year without fail. I've also been a member of the Maplewood Estates HOA for all 11 of those years, which, if you've spent any time watching this channel, you already know is basically a sentence in itself. HOAs are wonderful in theory. Keep up the neighborhood, protect property values, enforce reasonable community standards. In practice, sometimes they become little fiefdoms run by people who have decided that a cul-de-sac is their personal empire. Our HOA president, let's call her Karen, because honestly the name fits so perfectly it almost feels scripted by the universe, and had been on the board for 3 years when this incident occurred. In those 3 years, she had sent me no fewer than 47 violation notices. I counted. 47. My garbage can was visible from the street after collection day. My mailbox post was 2 inches off-center. My holiday lights were allegedly the wrong color temperature. These are real complaints that were filed against me in writing. So the relationship between Karen and me was already, shall we say, strained. Then I missed 2 HOA dues payments. Just 2. Life happened. I had a medical situation, I was dealing with some unexpected expenses, and I genuinely forgot to set up the autopay. The total amount I was behind was $480. Not $4,800. Not $48,000. $480. I want you to hold on to that number, because what Karen decided to do with that information is what turns this from a mildly annoying neighbor story into an actual criminal matter. Karen had apparently been doing some late-night research. In some states, I want to be very clear that this is a real thing. HOAs have the legal right to place liens on properties for unpaid dues, and in extreme cases, after following a very specific legal process, they can actually foreclose on a home. This is a legitimate legal mechanism, and it is also one of the most controversial aspects of HOA law in the country. However, and this is the crucial part, the process requires formal notice to the homeowner, a specific waiting period, court involvement, and a judge's approval. It is a multi-step legal process that takes months and involves actual attorneys and actual courts. Karen had decided that all of those steps were optional. She had gone online, printed out what she described to the police as foreclosure documents, filled in some blanks herself including, and I cannot stress this enough, filling in her own name as the new property owner, and had convinced herself that this informal, self-created paperwork constituted a legal transfer of my home's title. This is not how property law works in any state in the United States of America or, to my knowledge, anywhere else on planet Earth. But Karen didn't know that. Or more accurately, Karen didn't care. Because at 7:04 in the morning on a Tuesday, she knocked on my door holding a manila folder, told me the house was hers now, and demanded my keys. When I told her she was out of her mind and to get off my property, she pulled out her phone and dialed 911. She told the dispatcher, and this came out later in the police report, that there was a trespasser refusing to vacate a property she had legally acquired. The trespasser was me. in my own home, where I have lived for 11 years. The officers who arrived were, to their credit, completely professional. They looked at Karen's documents, looked at my actual deed, asked a few questions, and within about 15 minutes had a very clear picture of what was happening. One of the officers actually pulled me aside and said something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, "Sir, I have seen a lot of things in this job, but this is a new one." They explained to Karen that her documents were not legally valid, that she did not own my home, and that if she did not leave my property immediately, she would be the one facing charges. Karen did not take this well. She started yelling about the HOA's authority, about my unpaid dues, about how she had done her research. One of the officers had to physically walk her back to the sidewalk. She stood there for another 20 minutes after they left, just staring at my house. I filmed all of it from my window, every single second. That footage is going to become very important later, so remember that detail. Now here's where things escalate from unhinged HOA Karen territory into genuine legal consequence territory. Because I didn't just let this go. I called an attorney that same afternoon. My attorney reviewed Karen's documents and immediately flagged 3 separate potential criminal violations: filing a false police report, filing fraudulent property documents, and attempted theft by deception, because presenting fake documents in an attempt to take possession of someone else's property is, in fact, theft. The county recorder's office also got involved because Karen had apparently attempted to file her self-made deed transfer with their office, and they had flagged it as suspicious but hadn't yet followed up. The HOA's own bylaws were also a massive problem for Karen personally, because while the HOA does have the ability to pursue liens and, in extreme circumstances, legal foreclosure proceedings, none of that authority is vested in the board president acting alone. It requires a full board vote, legal counsel, proper notice, and court approval. Karen had done none of those things. She had acted entirely unilaterally, using the HOA's name and authority as cover for what was essentially a personal vendetta dressed up in manila folders and fake paperwork. The other board members, there were 4 of them, and were horrified when they found out. 2 of them called me directly to apologize. The HOA's attorney sent Karen a cease-and-desist within 48 hours. Karen was removed from the board by unanimous vote 10 days after the incident. And as of the time I'm recording this video, the matter has been referred to the county district attorney's office for review of potential criminal charges. My $480 in unpaid dues, by the way, I paid them the week after this happened. Not because I felt I owed anything after what Karen pulled, but because I wanted absolutely zero ammunition in anyone's hands going forward. The HOA also waived the late fees as part of an informal settlement of my potential civil claims against the organization for Karen's conduct as a board member. So what are the lessons here? First, know your HOA documents. Read your CC and RS, your covenants, conditions, and restrictions. Know exactly what your HOA can and cannot do. Know what the process looks like for dues enforcement and lien placement in your state. This information is your armor. Second, document everything. Every violation notice, every interaction, every bizarre 7 a.m. confrontation on your doorstep with a woman holding a folder of fake deeds. Video, photos, written notes with timestamps. All of it. Third, never underestimate how far some people will take things. I genuinely thought Karen was bluffing when she picked up the phone. She was not bluffing. Some people are fully committed to their delusions, and the only appropriate response is legal, documented, and calm. And fourth, and I say this with complete sincerity, if you are ever in a situation where someone is attempting to take your home through fake paperwork, bad faith legal claims, or outright fraud, get an attorney immediately. Not eventually. Immediately. The legal system does actually work in cases this clear-cut, but only if you engage it quickly and aggressively. If you want to see how this criminal referral plays out, because we are absolutely going to do a follow-up video the moment there's news, make sure you're subscribed and have the bell notification turned on. Drop a comment below telling me the wildest thing your HOA has ever done to you. I read every single one, and the best ones become future episodes right here on Neighbor Wars HQ. I'll see you in the next one.